Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Trying out a new do here, my first ever faux hawk. I don't think I've quite got it down yet, but when the hair grows a little more, I think it's gonna look pretty damn good. Anyway, today's video, I just wanted to go over some of the traits of, here we go again. Heck, go down, go down, go down. Stay. You stay. Sweetest thing ever, she's so bored. Gonna take her outside for a walk or play some ball or something after this video. But today I just wanted to talk about some of the traits, good and bad, of the Leo Virgo cusp. If you've watched either of the previous two videos, you'll know that I am a cusper, dead center, and I feel like we're definitely a special blend of signs. Leo Virgo cusps have the heart of a Leo and the mind of a Virgo. That's an awfully powerful combination. We even have our very own ancient Egyptian symbol, which is the Sphinx, body of a lion, and the head of a woman or a man. There are different, renditions of it, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's made of both masculine and feminine energies. I even, for these special cuspies, the Cusp of Exposure, made us our very own Major Arcana Tarot card. I'm just getting into tarot. I'm not sure if this is breaking the rules or not, but I really don't care because it's my deck of tarot cards. So here it is. This is just to start with. I'll have one officially made at some point. Well, of course it's backwards, but this is Major Arcana number 22 in my deck, and it's called the Strong Hermit. I haven't quite gotten to the language of what exactly it's going to say yet, but we're that special. We get our very own Major Arcana for Cusper. I don't think there are any others out there, but I'm still doing research on that. So let's get into some of the good and some of the bad. I'm kind of going to play this kind of like we are. I'm going to give you a trait of our personality, and I'm going to tell you some good things and some potentially, not so good things about those traits. So we are creative, very creative people. Like I said, heart of a Leo and mind of a Virgo. Virgo, very analytical, very detail-oriented lines, so full of love, passion, and creativity. Leo Virgo cuspers are likely to put our unique stamp on anything and everything that we do, even down to the food that we eat. I'm sure Gordon Ramsay and I probably wouldn't get along too well. He's one of my absolute favorite chefs that are out there in the world, and I'd very much like to have one of his meals at one of his, I think he has 21 restaurants now, but I don't think he would care for my personality trait as far as this goes, because putting my own unique stamp on anything means if his menu says, ham and cheese omelet with onions and peppers, and that's how it comes, well, it's Gordon Ramsay cooking it, so most people are probably just going to eat it. But I would pull them to the side and say, hey, could you do that without peppers, or maybe a third egg instead of just two? Or I'd find some way to take Gordon Ramsay's dish and make it my very own. And just from watching Hell's Kitchen and Kitchen Nightmares, I don't think that would go over very well. But we're going to see how it goes, because I'm going to be a big-time player on the scene. I'm expecting to be a millionaire by February. This YouTube channel is just one of many, many projects I have going on right now. I'm also writing children's books, which is a good segue into the next trait of Leo Virgo personality. The creativity and the outstanding communication skills are likely to make us, as I've discovered recently, I'm an incredibly gifted writer. Good writers, good storytellers, good with details can paint a mental image in your head while we're telling you a story, down to the last, slime-covered toadstool, as Prince Farquaad said in Shrek. It's a good movie. Excellent communicators. Yes, an outstanding conversationalist. Now, the positive to that is, with the heart of a lion, we can make people feel very, very good about themselves. Just like, Leos that are not on the cusp, warm, caring, compassionate. when we're in our natural state, when we're centered and everything is going well. And then once you've mastered yourself, you can even do that when things are not going so well, as I've recently had to discover. Hard lesson learned there. But the flip side of the great communication skills is we can also make people feel very bad about themselves. When we get angry, it's not a pretty thing. It's not just like some people get angry, they'll cuss at you. Some people will just go dark on you and not want to talk to you at all. Well, Leo Virgo cuspers, if they feel like they've been slighted, will use those great communicative skills and say things that cut just a little bit deeper than other mean things that other mean things that other people would say, and that's it's just an awful thing. If you're blessed to be on this cusp and you have these abilities and these powers, it's very, very important to learn these lessons as soon as you can, so that you don't end up hurting people that you love. Devoted. Leo, Virgo, Cusp of Exposure, baby, deuce. Devoted, significant other, devoted partners. If a Leo, Virgo, Cusper tells you they love you and that it's forever, that's exactly what they mean, and you can take that to the bank. Even if they were to become unhappy in a relationship, they're not going to leave you. You're going to have to leave them. And sometimes it could be for their own good, to get them to wake up from whatever depression-induced slumber that they've been in, avoiding the world and not caring about anything, including themselves. So, very sunny, naturally, like Leos. Healing is a really outstanding trait with us. We like to, just like Leos, like to make people feel better, but also Virgos naturally lend themselves to the medical profession. Great healers. Their eye for detail and healing can cause them to pick up on things that other people might not see at first glance and might gloss over. But the flip side of that keen eye is that we often, especially when it comes to grammar, we have kind of a problem when people don't speak properly, and you'll hear me correct myself, I'm sure 100 times before I get done making these videos. And if we're not focused on being kind, then it can lead us to correct other people's grammar. And more often than not, it's coming from a place of, the next time you're in front of somebody that knows what they're talking about, I don't want you to sound less intelligent than you actually are. And the majority of the time, that's where we're going to be coming from with that. But if a Cusp of Exposure person is having a bad day or is just not in control of themselves emotionally, it can become really nitpicky and really aggravating for somebody that can't even finish their sentence before we're already telling you what you said wrong and how this word doesn't go there. It can be a little bit of a nightmare. Know thyself, Cuspers. Know thyself, and do not make these mistakes. It'll cost you. I promise. Persuasive. We're very persuasive people. Make for good salesmen or saleswomen, for you ladies out there, of course. But if this individual is not coming from a good place and is not acting from their heart, they can be persuasive in bad ways and can take advantage of people that are less fortunate themselves, with less gifts, and people that can be easily manipulated anyway. These people can use those gifts for, Slytherin motivated activities instead of Gryffindor. Let's see what else we got here. Very sincere. We love honesty, both giving and receiving. We have a special gift, not just of body language, but intuitively, we always know when someone is lying to us. We feel it. We feel it in our bones. There's no question. If you are an experienced conversationalist, and you add that intuition to, I lost my train of thought. By ever seen Tommy Boy, you have derailed. You add that intuition to a basic knowledge of body language, and it's just 99.999% of the time. If somebody lies to me, I know they're lying to me. And there may be never coming forth a time where that person will admit that they're lying, but we'll always know. And so we hit devotion, persuasiveness, sincerity, communication skills. Man, we are extreme. Leos are probably one of the most extreme signs in the zodiac. Virgo, very much extreme in their own way as far as communication is concerned and being detail oriented. When we find balance, it's a beautiful thing, and I look at us more or less like, I want to say Thor, but there's somebody. Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel recently has come out in the MCU, and she has power of flight. She's got super strength. She's got energy projection. She's got all these abilities, and that's what it feels like being on the cusp of exposure. We have so many superpowers and different things that we can draw from to influence the people around us, the environments around us, back to the creativity for a moment and having to put our own stamp on everything. Anybody out there, if you ever end up cooking me a meal, please don't be insulted. I will put salt and pepper on the food before I take the first bite. That's just who I am, and I'm likely to tell you exactly what it is that I want, even if it's not exactly what it is that you're cooking. The blend of the personalities, I've written some things down here. We're all over the place mentally. We're thinking about so many different things at one time, and sometimes it can be hard for us to focus, and that's something we really, really have to work at if we want to be successful in whatever it is that we're doing. We'll start one sentence, but before we even finish saying that sentence, we're 7 sentences down the road. It's it's just one of those things that we have to contend with. But overall, just like with any other sign, with any other cusp and combination of superpowers, whether it's Cancer, Leo, Leo, Virgo, Virgo, Libra, whatever it might be, everybody has their own unique gifts that they're born with, and some are born with a mastery of one particular set of skills, but they're horrible in another department. I believe it's our job to find out where our weaknesses are and pay the most attention there. If you can already hit 90% of your free throws, but you can't, connect on 33% of your three-point shots, you probably should work on shooting from behind the arc and let the free throws go. You're already gifted there. Just, let it be. And once you master the things that you're not so good at, we can go back and ensure up that last 10%. It being extreme, and that can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. The happy emotions, the warm, loving, the warm fuzzies, we're extreme in that too. If we love you, man, we love the holy shit out of you. By the same token, if you've proven yourself time and time again to be someone that is not worthy of that love, we'll be extreme in our anger, and that's another thing that's good to recognize and work on. You don't really want to get somebody with that intensity of emotion into a bad place, and the fact of the matter is nobody should be able to get anybody else into a bad place emotionally, because you're supposed to have control of your very own emotions. It's all about here. If you make every decision that you make from your heart, then you'll never fail. That can take some of us longer to learn than others. We do, unfortunately. Tauruses are the number one sign in terms of being stubborn. Leo is a very close second place. So having the stubbornness of a Leo with the analytical mind of a Virgo, man, it's sometimes walls are incredibly difficult to tear down, whether it's your own or someone else's. But if anybody is likely to talk their way through that wall, it would be us. I think that's all I have for Cuspers for right now. I hit everything that I wanted to hit today. Oh yeah, the sincerity, being honest sometimes to a fault. The Leo side of us, you know, that I'm going to do what I want when I want, and that's just how it is. But then if it's something that we'd rather not tell somebody that we did, if you're close to this person and you ask them, did you do this? They're likely, even still in that situation, not to lie to you, like, yeah, I did that. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not going to lie about it because, you know, that'll make things even worse. And that's a good thing to recognize. But anyhow, yep, that's all I got for today. That's just a little bit of the Leo Virgo cusp personality traits and characteristics. And what I find is that whenever I have a question as to how, you know, what's the best way to overcome the negative aspects of one's own personality, I always come back to the same thing, and I can hear my father's voice inside my head. If you make every decision from your heart and your heart alone, you are never going to fail. It might not seem at the time like things are going to turn out the way that you want them to, but this is life. You know, we're not here for very long. If you make peace with the fact that not everything is going to go exactly the way that you want it to, and even if you get what you want, it might not look the way that you wanted it to look or that you had imagined it in your mind. That's life. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel and visiting me again. Like I was saying in my introductory video, or maybe it was the Leo video, I'm going to be doing first the signs that I'm most familiar with. Taurus will be the next video. That's going to be a lot of fun. About to take the bull by the horns. Too much? Tough channel. Anyway, thanks again for coming back. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will check in with y'all later. As it stands right now, I'm a small business owner. I'm just trying to get this thing up off the ground. I've got some really, really big things in the work, but in the meantime, I'm doing a lot of studying, trying to know myself and find out, you know, what are the worst things about me and what can I do to get rid of those things, or at least, at the very least, be in control of them. That's to not hurt people, because my mission here is to make people smile, to make people happy, to make people feel good about themselves, to lift them up when they're feeling down. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll see you guys next time. Probably have the Taurus video up by the end of the day, but at the very least, by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm going to try to do one video a week until I get the traits section done, and then I'm going to attempt to tackle I'm going to attempt to tackle my very first tarot readings, and we'll see how that goes. I'm actually excited to use the Cusp of Exposure card that I've created. Major Arcana number 22, remember, the Strong Hermit. Remember, Cuspers, just act from the heart. Be a big old Care Bear. Talk to you next time. Bye.